Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my home. On today's video, I'm going to walk you through how I effectively clean my kitchen when I have to do a deep cleaning. And this is for anybody who deals with ADHD, depression, or anxiety. These are going to be very simple steps to take. And by all means, you don't have to do every single thing that I do today. This is just an example of what I've come up with over the last 7 years to be able to manage a big area. And here we're taking care of the kitchen. So we're going to get straight to the steps. First things first, I always work from one direction to the other. I am starting on the far left area of the kitchen and I'm working my way to the right. And the way I do these things is I simply grab everything that doesn't belong and I put it back to where it should go. Whether it's dirty dishes, pantry items, things that go in the cabinet, things that need to go in the trash, all of these things simply just go back to where they belong. I don't focus on cleaning, I don't focus on decluttering. I focus on this step first, putting everything back where it belongs, to where it's simply just allowing me to focus on the cleaning afterwards. So here I'm working from one direction to the other. I'm not going around the, room trying to figure out where to pick up next. It's from one direction to the other. And that is the same thing that I apply when it comes to cleaning it. I work from one direction to the other. And this has been incredibly helpful for myself as somebody who has ADHD because it can be very overwhelming to know where to start. But if I know that I'm starting from left to right or right to left, I don't have to execute that motion anymore. I know where I'm starting every single time without a fail. And it also doesn't create this stressful environment. If you are low on energy, if you have Hashimoto's, this is what I recommend you do. Put a timer for 5 minutes, work from one direction to the other, and stop. Take a break, come back to it in a little bit, and then do another 5 minutes, and so on and so forth. Of course, we don't always have time available to us, so just do as much as you can. Don't overdo it. If you're dealing with depression, just put things away. Don't worry about the deep cleaning. Don't worry about other things. Just put things away. I promise you, putting things back away is one of the easiest way to make yourself feel more efficient throughout this process. You don't even have to deep clean the kitchen. Just putting things away and throwing stuff in the trash is the simplest step to feel better. Now, I am doing the same thing on the island, the kitchen island here. This is one of the biggest issues for most individuals. It becomes a catch-all. It becomes, the working area, the desk, the dining area, everything. And to be honest, that applies here too. In our household, we actually don't use our dining table. We all eat in the kitchen island. Ever since we got on these bar stools, that's just our go-to area. We're a small family of four. We have a dining table, but I just feel like the kids like to be able to see mom cook. And, my husband and I like to be sitting there. It's just kind of like our go to area. So this area gets really, really dirty. There's always books from the kids' schoolwork. There's my laptop from my own work. There's always something going on. But when I clean up, when I pick up, I do it from one direction to the other, and it has never failed me on its efficient. So I can do this in less than 15 minutes when it comes to the pickup. Everything goes back to where it goes. It's either trash, it's either going into the pantry or going into a cabinet or the sink. There's no two ways about it. Of course, there's going to be times where there are items in here that don't belong in here. And in order for me not to necessarily leave the room completely, I grab a basket and I put those items there. And at the end of the day, they go back to the room. Now, for cleaning supplies, I've been loving having this big tote bag or cleaning tote bag or caddy, if you want to call it, because I keep all of my cleaners there. In the past, I've shown you guys creating little caddies for the bathroom. Well, this is my whole house caddy because I don't like separating everything to very, small containers sometimes when it comes to the bigger rooms, simply because it can become even more overwhelming, right? We're not trying to create more work for us. We're trying to diminish the amount of work that we do. So a big caddy for the bigger rooms like the kitchen, the dining area, the bedrooms is a perfect to go to as opposed to maybe the smaller baskets that I showed you guys to create for the bathrooms. Now, once I've tidied up, I wash the dishes. Why? Because I need the sink. Okay. You're going to need the sink when it comes to cleaning other items. There's bound to be other things in the kitchen that you're going to need that sink to be empty. So I just wash everything up by hand. You, of course, can load up the dishwasher if you so choose so, but it was only a few dishes. I just wanted it done. And the dishwasher needed to be emptied. And I just felt like this was the process of doing so. When doing the dishes, try to stick to just dishes, okay? Don't bounce around between the fridge and the dishes and the sink, and just stick to the dishes. Once you're done with that, you can move on to your next task. So try to not bounce around between one area of the kitchen to the other because, again, if you have ADHD, you're bound to stop doing what you were supposed to be doing. Today, I'm actually going to be cleaning the stove. I don't necessarily deep clean the stove every single day. I do wipe it down. I take the food off of it. And if it's really bad, I go ahead and clean it. But I don't deep clean it every day or every week. So I probably do it twice a month, if I'm being honest with you, because the crates are like, or not the crates, but everything that goes around it is very intricate. There's so many steps. And it can be very overwhelming. So, twice a month is what I give myself to do it. And I'm just filling the water right now in the sink to make sure all of those are going to be cleaned. And then I put back the dishes. Now, typically, I don't recommend doing this, but since we are really good at multitasking with some things, if you have something that's filling up with water, if there's something like a cleaner that should be sitting and doing something to an area, you can go ahead and do something else so you're not getting bored. So I typically recommend only if the task is allowing you to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all the dishes away because I need the counters to be cleared. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the counters afterwards. And I do recommend the same process of, cleaning from left to right or right to left. But I do add one simple step to this if you're cleaning a kitchen. The cabinets need to be cleaned first because the cabinets are gonna have dust and particles, and all of that is going to fall down. So if you clean your counters first and then your top cabinets, all of that dirt is going to be falling down to the clean counters. So please, 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 top to bottom when you're actually dusting or cleaning, just to avoid double cleaning or adding more work to your tasks. Now, for actual deep cleaning days, I always recommend that you remove everything from the counter first, as opposed to cleaning around the items that are there. Yes, this might be an added layer to the whole setup, but remember, this is a deep cleaning. We're not doing this every single day. We're doing this at most once or twice a month. If you want to do it more, that's perfectly fine. But just keep in mind that I am saying this to people who deal with ADHD or have depression or anxiety or Hashimoto's, and the energy isn't always there. So don't feel bad if you can't do this multiple times in a month, or please be mindful of your comments if you're thinking, wow, this is the only time you're doing it. Again, this is for anybody who's struggling with their mental health or is struggling with a disability that makes it really, really hard for them to clean. So once or twice a month. If you're able to do it more often, that's perfectly acceptable. If you're doing it just once, that's perfectly acceptable. We are simply just trying to get you on a rhythm to being able to manage your home without all the stress that comes with it or the pressure that comes with it as well. So, remove everything. And right now, I am sticking just to the back portion of the kitchen and not the kitchen island. And then I'm going to go ahead and spray everything down. But again, we're cleaning cabinets. And when cleaning cabinets, I just want to give you a quick little tip with that. Do not spray the cabinet directly. I have learned, and especially if you have white cabinets like I do, that sometimes, depending on the finish of the cabinet, if you spray it directly, it'll streak. And then it'll be really hard to take that streak off. And that happens because there's a lot of grease residue on the cabinets. And unless you're doing the three cleaner method, which I can talk about in other videos, it's going to be really hard to get rid of those streaks. So spray the cloth that you're using and then just do a quick little wipe down. As you can see here, I'm not even reaching the very top of this. I'm simply just kind of going over the areas where hands touch the area. The handles, everything is being cleaned on that area, but I'm not reaching the very top. And again, I'm not spraying it all over again because I'm not using the full method for cleaning the cabinets. And I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. Even darker tone cabinets will do that. In my older kitchen, I had the dark wooden color cabinets and it did the same exact thing. And whenever I would go back, I could see the streaks and I wonder, like, how is that happening? Like, is there residue from something? Is there a cleaner? And then I found out that you're not supposed to spray them directly. You're always supposed to have the cleaner go into the cloth, or if you're doing the full proper method, you're supposed to use a wet and a dry afterwards. So am so happy. I can do a video where I can show you guys this, but for now, let's just focus on that. Then I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning the actual midsection of the kitchen. And again, I am just making sure everything's cleared off. There's nothing there. I didn't remove the air fryer just because that area had just been wiped down this morning. So I'm not concerned about the area, but everything else is getting wiped down. If there's something sticky, something not coming off, you can spray it and let it sit for a little bit longer. So you're not having to worry about scrubbing there for a good chunk of time. And I'm not skipping the stove just yet, but remember the stove is being deep cleaned today. So there's some cleaners that are going to be sitting on that, as well as the microwave. And I always recommend with the stove is that if you are short on time, you use a proper degreaser. And I'm going to show you guys right now what I'm using, but a proper degreaser will cut the amount of time that you are spending cleaning the stove. The stove, especially if you have the one that I have or similar to it, it can be very, very hard. So I use this one from Sep. Now, I will disclaim this. If you're using the SEP one, just be aware that it has a very strong citrusy smell. It's not a strong chemical smell, which is nice, but if you have like a vent or something over the stove, I would suggest turning that on. I'm also spraying the top cabinets. Now, I just said not to do that, but this is beyond greasy because I don't have a hood. I have the microwave, and the microwave sometimes catches a lot of that grease that then ends up sticking near those cabinets, and they really needed a good cleaning. So, this is the only time what I would say it's acceptable to spray it directly because that set cleaner will literally melt away all of the grease. I've let it sit on the stove and now I'm taking this kind of blade. It's a plastic blade that I like using to just kind of remove some of the super sticky sections. I definitely recommend having those too, especially for your cabinets. It comes with an actual blade and it comes with a plastic blade so that you're not like scratching anything that can be sensitive to those. Now for the stove, I did let it sit for quite a few minutes and then I'll go in with a sponge and everything will come off. This is the type of cleaners that I highly recommend having, something that is effective, that is going to take care of the hard work for you and that you're not having to worry about, you know, scrubbing for a good 30 minutes as it is. We are short on time. We're trying to do this somewhat fast, but also efficient. Now, for the step cleaner, I've used it in other areas in the kitchen too. Like I said, it does have a strong citrusy smell if you don't mind that. I always turn the vent on just because I can get a little bit of like a dry throat afterwards, but it's not a chemical smell like some of the other cleaners that I've used. So definitely recommend that one. And then for the microwave, I do my absolute best never to use chemicals inside of it. I just feel kind of icky about it. So I use vinegar. And I've had this Angry Mama for the longest time now. I put some white vinegar in there, I pop it in there, set 3 to 4 minutes, and it does a steam cleaning in there with the vinegar. It's not the most pleasant smell, but it is a clean way of cleaning that area. All I have to do now is just wipe it down, and it's just so simple. During that time that the angry mom is doing its thing, I will go ahead and scrub down the stove. And like I said, this was like a very simple clean after I've let it sit. Definitely recommend letting it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes if it's an extremely dirty stove. If it's not, just maybe 3 to 5 minutes will do, and then take a sponge. I use the microfiber to remove everything that is left. Always, always remove the residue of the stoves because when you turn it on, you don't want anything flammable to remain in that area. So do the clean microfiber that's dry, and then do a wet microfiber to remove any of the residue, and then go back again with a clean one if it's like a lot of cleaner that you used. In the past, I've been told to use like the natural cleaners, like I think I used vinegar and I used bicarbonate on it, and I don't recommend that. I definitely don't recommend that because the residue is a nightmare to take care of afterwards. It dries up in the cracks and crannies of the stove. You have to then come back with like a stick or something to try to remove it. It was a nightmare. So that was on me. I was following this YouTube video that I found, and for that person, it seemed to work. But maybe what they lacked actually talking about was the aftermath. When everything dried up and I didn't go in with like a wet towel or something, everything was so hard to remove for about a month. So I don't recommend that. Just use a proper cleaner, honestly. Don't create more work for yourself. Here I am just cleaning these parts from the stove. I typically don't do this because it is cast iron and you have to make sure it dries properly, otherwise you can ruin it. But it definitely just needed it. So I'm gonna rinse them down, put them back in the stove, and then we're gonna move on to the kitchen island. Now, when deep cleaning a stove, I know you're always going to be tempted to take care of the entire thing, oven included. But if you are short on energy, don't worry about the oven. Honestly, leave the oven for another day, for its own day. The important part is the top part where you're cooking, making sure that it's clean and sanitary and it's ready to be used for the next time that you cook. But I wouldn't stress about the oven unless you need it or you're about to use it. Like if you have like an event or family, definitely do it. Now, if you're finding yourself a little stressed out or like you've reached a point where you don't want to continue cleaning, I'm going to suggest a few things, especially if you have ADHD. By now, you're probably over it. You don't want to partake in it. It's lost its little sparkle. You're just over it, right? Put some music on. Put some music on that you really enjoy. Grab a nice coffee or a matcha, whatever it is that you enjoy drinking. Take a few sips and then go back to it. Keep telling yourself that future you is going to be grateful about this and just don't stop thinking of the outcome rather than you not wanting to do it anymore. Now, for the kitchen island, I always recommend again from one direction to the other. But one additional tip that I can offer you guys is try to get eye level to the island because when it comes to counters, you would be amazed at how many times you miss a spot or you miss something that really needs to be clean. Because from the top portion of the area where you're looking at it, it may seem clean. It's not until you run your fingers through it that you find sticky stuff or things that kind of got left behind. So try to get eye level to it to make sure that everything is removed. Don't worry about using harsh chemicals all throughout the kitchen, by the way. If you want to use some castile soap with water and a splash of, alcohol or something, that's more than acceptable. If you want to use white vinegar, that's more than acceptable. The only thing I do have to let you guys know is that vinegar may not be used for certain counter types. It might be too acidic for some counters. So make sure you look that up. I know for a fact, like the counter that I have here, isn't always going to be shiny if I'm using vinegar. I've noticed that. So I try to avoid it. I just try to use a different cleaner for it. If you have a porous countertop, then you definitely don't want to use vinegar. If you have a wooden countertop, then you don't want to use vinegar. There are different cleaners that you're going to want to avoid when it comes to that. So just make sure that you keep that in mind going forward. I can have a list down below for you guys of cleaners that are acceptable for some of the countertops and some that are not acceptable for vinegar. For the sink, a quick wipe down is necessary. And if you're still smelling something funky coming out of that area, put some lemon drops, or I use these little cleaner balls that you just saw me put in there. You put one in there and it takes care of the smell. If it's really bad, you can put a little bit of vinegar down there, but do not pour down hot boiling water. That is not acceptable half the time. Just be aware of that. So, that is it, guys. That was a deep cleaning for the kitchen. I know it might have seemed like a little too overwhelming. And again, you don't have to do every single task in one go. Try doing it in 5 to 10 minute intervals. Try to give yourself breaks, take time, or build up to it. This has taken me roughly 5 years to build up to and perfect in a way to make sure that I'm able to do it in one go efficiently without getting overwhelmed and without letting myself burn out. I don't do this cleaning every single day. I simply do a tidy up, but I do recommend a cleaning of this sorts once or twice a month just to make sure that your kitchen is staying clean and ready and easily accessible for when you have to cook. If you guys enjoy this sort of video, let me know in the comments below and I will make different ones depending on the zone. And until next time, bye.